My name is Mara Sullivan, 31 years old. Last Thursday night completely rewired something in my brain, and I'm still trying to decide whether that's a tragedy or a blessing in disguise. But I'll start at the beginning, because the ending only really makes sense once you trace all the small things I chose not to see along the way. I work as a logistics coordinator for a mid-sized shipping company in Texas. It pays well enough to keep my life steady. My bills are paid on time, my credit score is solid, and I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment downtown. The view is mostly concrete and sky, more parking lot than postcard. But it's mine. I drive a used SUV that's fully paid off. My 401k is growing instead of stagnating. On paper, I'm what people like to call a woman who has her life together. Ethan came into my life 3 years ago. He was 28 then, funny in an effortless way, charming without trying too hard, and annoyingly good at trash talk during Mario Kart. We met at a friend's game night, and he worked in digital marketing, mostly remote, always talking about the freedom of freelance life. Things slid into place easily. Weekends meant cooking together, binging shows, occasionally splurging on new restaurants, or collapsing on the couch when we were too tired to care. My apartment wasn't luxurious, but I'd worked hard to make it feel like home after my last relationship ended. I painted the walls myself, swapped out cheap fixtures, installed shelves, and slowly replaced college leftovers with furniture I actually chose. When Ethan moved in about 1.5 years into our relationship, we had what I thought was an adult conversation about money. I told him the apartment was in my name and I handled the mortgage. He'd take care of groceries, utilities, his car insurance and phone. He agreed easily, told me he admired how put together I was, joked that he'd never dated someone so grown. Now I'm not sure if it meant respect or relief. The warning signs were there. They always are. I ignored how uncomfortable he got when I talked about saving for a future house, how he joked about being young and reckless instead. I overlooked the fact that he never contributed to furniture or home projects, but had opinions about all of it. I brushed past how he invited people over without asking, and then vanished when it was time to clean. And then there was Tessa, his ex from college. According to Ethan, ancient history. They dated for almost 2 years, ended amicably, barely spoke. Except her name kept surfacing. Updates about her job, screenshots of group chats, a birthday text he called sweet. When I finally asked if they still talked, he rolled his eyes and told me I was being paranoid. So I convinced myself I was. For a while, things settled back into routine. Ethan worked from the second bedroom we'd turned into an office. I came home around 6 most nights, exhausted from clients who thought trucks teleported and schedules were suggestions. We'd argue about what to watch, fall asleep too late, repeat it all the next day. Then about 2 months ago, the cracks widened. He was on his phone more, angling the screen away, stepping into other rooms for calls. He'd smile at messages and smooth his face when he noticed me watching. I told myself it was work. I told myself not to be dramatic. Then Thursday happened. I got home around 6:15, drained after a brutal day. Ethan was already on the couch with his laptop, wearing his usual gray joggers and one of my hoodies he'd quietly claimed. He said he was working on a campaign. I made a sandwich, grabbed chips, and sat beside him while the TV played something neither of us cared about. Around 7:45, his phone buzzed. He grabbed it too fast, nearly knocking over his water. He smiled, really smiled. The kind he used to give me. Another buzz. His thumbs flew. His shoulders curled inward, like the rest of the world disappeared. I asked who had him smiling like that, keeping my voice light. He flinched, then said it was just Liam, a meme. But Liam was camping, off-grid, no service. His phone buzzed again, and before he could hide it, I saw the notification. Can't stop thinking about last weekend. The name above it was Tessa. When I asked him about it, he froze, then laughed, not nervously, amused, confident, like the idea of me leaving was ridiculous. He asked if I was really going to break up with him over texts. That's when something shifted. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I stood up and went to the bedroom, while he told me not to be dramatic. I pulled down the hard-shell suitcase I bought him for our anniversary, flipped it open, and started packing my own things. Clothes folded carefully. Toiletries laid on top. He watched from the doorway, confused, then annoyed, insisting it was nothing, that they'd just had coffee. Last weekend, when he told me he was at a conference, he admitted it eventually, blamed the lie on my reaction. I didn't argue. I rolled the suitcase to the door, grabbed my backpack, my laptop, my documents, everything important. He laughed again, thinner this time, told me to be an adult. I booked an extended stay hotel 10 minutes away and ordered a rideshare. Check in tonight. Decent monthly rates. Easy. He tried again. Where are you even going to go? Anywhere you're not, I said. His face flickered. I walked into the kitchen and calmly unplugged my coffee maker, my air fryer, my Instant Pot, every appliance I'd bought with my money and used every week. Set them by the door. You're taking the appliances? He snapped. Seriously? My things? I replied. My decision. The rideshare notification popped up. Your driver is 7 minutes away. On my way out, I picked up his phone from the counter. He lunged for it, but I was faster. I knew his passcode, his birthday, not creative. I opened the thread with Tessa and scrolled. Months of messages, flirting, inside jokes, can't wait to see you again. Photos, weekend plans, GPS tags that didn't match the stories he told me. I turned the screen so he could see. His face went gray. Mara, it's not what it looks like, he stammered. It's exactly what it looks like, I said, and you laughed. My phone buzzed. Your driver is here. I grabbed the suitcase handle, swung my backpack over my shoulder, picked up my documents, and walked to the door. Mara, please, he said, voice cracking for the first time. Don't do this. I love you, we can talk about it. I looked back at him. What am I going to do? I repeated softly. Exactly what you said, Ethan. Break up with you. I stepped out, closed the door behind me, and didn't look back. The driver helped me load everything into the trunk. Rough night? He asked gently. Something like that, I said. I muted Ethan's calls halfway through the ride. By the time I checked into the hotel, my phone had so many notifications it looked like it was glitching. I ignored them all. The extended stay room was small but clean. A bed, a little kitchenette, a table, and silence. Blessed heavy silence. I set my suitcase down, exhaled for the first time in hours, and opened my laptop. First order of business, changing passwords, streaming services, shared accounts, everything we'd ever logged into together. If he wanted to watch his shows, he could pay for his own subscriptions. I lay down on the unfamiliar bed, staring at the ceiling. For the first time in months, I slept straight through the night. The next morning, my alarm went off at 6:30, just like always. For a moment, in that fuzzy second between sleep and waking, I reached out across the bed, expecting to feel Ethan's warmth beside me. My hand met cold, unfamiliar sheets. The hotel room came back into focus. Beige walls, small kitchenette, my suitcase propped open like a reminder that my life now fit into portable compartments. For a second, panic rose in my chest. Then underneath it, something steadier. Relief. I showered, got dressed for work, and stared at myself in the mirror. Same face, same brown eyes, same faint scar on my chin from when I fell off my bike at 10. But there was something different in my expression, a quiet hardness that had not been there the day before. At lunch, I called my landlord. Hey, Steve, it is Mara, I said, fingers drumming the picnic table outside my office. I need to talk to you about the lease. You renewing early? You are one of my favorite tenants. Not exactly, I said. I found out my boyfriend has been cheating. I moved out last night. I want to stop paying for the apartment as soon as possible. There was a small pause on his end. Sorry to hear that, he said finally. Is he staying or going? That is up to him, I said. But I am done. I do not want to be financially tied to that place with him living in it. He is not on the lease, right? Steve asked. Just you. Just me, I confirmed. Then technically he is your guest, Steve said. You want him out? You can give him notice. Most people do 30 days. That is more than fair. If you want to move your stuff out and stop paying after that, we can work with that. 30 days, 1 month. It sounded both too long and just right. Draft whatever you need to, I said. I will cooperate, but I am not staying, and I am not paying for his home after that. I will put together an official 30-day notice. He will have to vacate or I start eviction proceedings. You are covered. Bar. After work, back at the hotel, I typed out a message with hands that did not shake. You have 30 days to move out. Official notice is coming from Steve. Good luck. I hit send. The explosion was immediate. Are you serious right now? Mara, stop. You cannot just kick me out. We live there together. I have rights. This is my home too. You are abandoning me over some texts. I put my phone face down on the little table, sat on the edge of the bed, and listened to the buzzing go on and on. Then came the switch. Please answer me. I am sorry. All right? It did not mean anything. You are ruining everything over nothing. I love you. We can fix this. I read each one once, then archived the thread. An hour later, his mom called. I stared at the screen for a long moment before answering. Hello, Mara. What is going on? She demanded without greeting. Ethan says you kicked him out of the apartment and disappeared. Hi, Linda, I said calmly. I did not disappear. I moved into a hotel because your son has been cheating on me with his ex for months. She huffed. He told me he only texted her. People make mistakes. You do not throw away 3 years over some messages. Linda, I said. He lied about where he was. He spent an entire weekend at her place and laughed in my face when I confronted him. Those are not some messages. That is a pattern. There was a long silence on the line. Still, she said finally softer. Adults work things out. You should sit down like grown-ups and talk. Not run away to some hotel and threaten eviction. That is dramatic. Adults do not laugh at their partner when they are caught cheating. I replied. Steve will be sending the official notice. He has 30 days. After that, it is between your son and the landlord. Mara, listen. You are overreacting, she started. I am done being disrespected in my own home, I said. You can support him however you want, but I am not his safety net anymore. I hung up before she could answer and blocked her number. Then came his brother, his aunt, a cousin I had met twice. Friends of his whose names I barely remembered. You are really going to leave him homeless? He said he just made a mistake. You are acting crazy. Relationships are work. You are throwing away 3 years. 17 numbers later, my block list looked like a small phone book. The next day, the front desk at the hotel called my room. Ma'am, there's a gentleman here asking for you, the clerk said carefully. He says he is your boyfriend and that you are having a domestic issue. I closed my eyes. Describe him, I said, though I already knew. Dark hair, gray hoodie, agitated, she replied. He is asking what room you are in and saying he needs to talk. My chest tightened, but my voice came out steady. Do not give him my room number, I said. He is not allowed up. He is harassing me. If he refuses to leave, please call security, and if you have to, call the police. A beat of silence. Yes, ma'am, she said. We will handle it. I set the phone down and stood still, listening. Even from the top floor, the walls carried sound. Muffled shouting below. A deeper voice I recognized even through the layers. Another voice, calm and firm. Footsteps. 10 minutes later, the clerk called back. Ma'am, security escorted him off the property. She said he was yelling about his rights and how you could not do this to him. We explain, and this is private property. If he returns, we will contact the police. My throat went tight. Thank you. I managed. When I hung up, I sat on the floor beside the bed and let myself cry. Not because I regretted leaving, but because the weight of everything finally caught up with me. The years, the promises, the future I had already built in my head. I cried until the ache behind my eyes turned into a dull throb. Then I wiped my face, stood up, and opened my laptop. If Ethan wanted to escalate, fine. I could escalate too. I changed more passwords, bank accounts, email, cloud storage, anything he might have touched while we lived together. My best friend Kyle texted while I was doing it. Heard you moved out. You okay? I stared at his message for a long time before replying. Not really, but I will be. Call me. I did. By Monday, I was done hiding. Ethan was supposedly at his mom's that afternoon. I texted him in the morning. I am coming by the apartment today to pick up the rest of my things. Do not be there. He sent back 6 messages in a row. This is my home too. You do not get to order me around. If you show up, I am not leaving. We need to talk. I ignored them. Kyle pulled up outside the hotel in his truck at noon. You ready? He asked. No, I said, opening the passenger door. But we are going anyway. We drove in silence for a few minutes, the city blurring past the window. You know this is the right call, right? You cannot fix someone who thinks cheating is a joke. I know, I said. Knowing and feeling are not on the same page yet. He nodded. When we reached the apartment, the building looked exactly the same as it had a week ago. Same bricks, same stairwell, same potted plant by the entrance that one of my neighbors watered religiously. It felt like walking into a funhouse version of my life. Inside, the air smelled like old coffee and stale cologne. Ethan's shoes were by the door. His hoodie was thrown over the back of the couch. His energy sat in a space like humidity. I pushed it aside. Start filming, I told Kyle. He took out his phone and began recording. As we did a slow walkthrough, I pointed to each piece of furniture. I bought that before he moved in. That TV is mine. That desk is mine. Those bookshelves are mine. The dishes in the kitchen, most of them are mine. I moved mechanically, almost clinically, packing my belongings into boxes and bags. Clothes, shoes, kitchenware, the throw blankets I had picked out, my books, my desk chair, my lamp, the wall art I had spent an entire Saturday hanging. Each item was a sentence in a story I was now writing a different ending for. By the time we finished, the apartment looked hollow. The bones of it still stood, but the warmth was gone. What remained was mostly his clothes, his video game consoles, his posters, the cheap lamp he brought from his last place. As we carried the last box down the stairs, the front door opened. Ethan froze in the doorway, holding a cardboard box, eyes wide as he took in the emptiness. "What did you do?" he breathed. I set my box down on the sidewalk and looked at him. "I took my things," I said. "Everything I bought before you moved in, and everything I paid for during the relationship." "You took everything," he said, voice climbing. "Where am I supposed to sit, sleep, eat?" "Those are problems you can figure out," I said. "You have 26 days left." His face twisted. "You cannot do this to me," he snapped. "This is my home. I put time into this place. This is abuse." "Your name is not on the lease," I replied quietly. "You are a guest. You were given notice. That is more courtesy than you ever gave me." "I have nowhere to go," he said, voice suddenly small. "You have a mom who thinks I'm being dramatic," I said. "You have friends you swore would always have your back. You have your ex who could not stop thinking about last weekend. You are not my responsibility anymore." Kyle lifted another box into the truck, muscles tense, jaw clenched. Ethan rounded on him. "You are really helping her do this?" he demanded. "Yeah," Kyle said. "I am." "Stay out of this," Ethan growled. "She is my friend." "You are lucky this is all she is doing." For a second, I thought Ethan might swing at him. Instead, he dropped the box he was holding. It hit the floor, something inside, breaking with a dull crack. "You will regret this," he said to me. "You are going to realize you overreacted and ruined your own life." I looked at the shattered item leaking from the cardboard, a picture frame, our picture from a weekend trip, glass cracked straight through our smiles. "I already regret something," I said. "I regret not leaving the first time I felt you were capable of this." We loaded the last of my things into the truck. I closed the tailgate and wiped my hands on my jeans, like I could wipe off the last 3 years. Ethan stood in the doorway of the half-empty apartment, chest heaving, eyes wild. "Mara," he called after me as I climbed into the passenger seat. "Come on, you cannot just walk away." "I already did," I said. Kyle pulled away from the curb. In the side mirror, Ethan shrank, the doorway framing him like a snapshot from a life I was finally driving away from. I did not look back again. The next 48 hours were what therapists call an extinction burst, the frantic chaos someone unleashes when their control over you slips away, and they're desperate to get it back. Except Ethan didn't slip. He plummeted. It started Tuesday morning while I was at work. My phone buzzed relentlessly, not with text this time, but with alerts from my credit monitoring app. New credit card application detected. Another application flagged as suspicious. Third-party inquiry to your social security number. I stared at the notifications, stunned. He wouldn't. He did. Ethan had my SSN. He had had access to all my documents when we lived together. I had trusted him with things people are not supposed to trust lightly, and now he was weaponizing it. I called the number on the credit alert immediately. "Ma'am," the representative said, "3 applications were submitted within the last hour using your information. Different addresses, but your exact social security number and date of birth." My stomach dropped like a stone. "Please freeze everything," I said. "All 3 bureaus immediately." They did. Then I spent the next 90 minutes on the phone filing fraud reports, canceling the applications, and creating an identity theft file. I documented every timestamp, every address, every detail. Then I drove straight to the police station during my lunch break. The officer at the front desk, a stocky middle-aged man with a gentle voice, listened without interrupting. "You know who has access to your information?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "My ex-boyfriend. I moved out 4 days ago after catching him cheating. He was shocked, angry, and he's still living in my apartment until the notice period ends. He's unraveling fast." He nodded slowly. "Motive, opportunity, and access," he said. "We'll open a report. Do you have proof he knew your SSN?" "Yes," I said. "He lived with me for 18 months. He saw my tax forms when I was filing last year, and he attempted to hack my work email 2 days ago." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Work email?" "Yes," I said. "My manager told me someone tried to log in using my credentials. It logged the attempt." He exhaled. "All right, this isn't just a breakup. This is criminal." He took my statement, made copies of my screenshots, and gave me a case number. As I was walking out of the station, my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "I know you reported me. You're insane. You ruined my life, and now you want to get me arrested." When I returned to work, my manager pulled me aside. "Mara," he said gently, "we've had several calls asking to speak with you urgently. A man claiming to be your fiancé said there was a family emergency." My jaw tightened. "That wasn't my fiancé," I said. "That was Ethan. We broke up because he was cheating. He's been harassing me since." "Okay," my manager said carefully. "Security has flagged his name. If he comes here, we'll call police. You're not in trouble, but let us know if you need accommodations." It was absurd, humiliating even, that my private disaster was now a workplace security issue. But it was also grounding. I wasn't alone anymore. There were witnesses, professionals, people who saw how far Ethan was spiraling. That evening, Kyle picked me up from work. "You look like you fought a tornado," he said, unlocking the passenger door. "It just has a name." We went to his apartment, my temporary home, until the hotel's weekly rate ended. He reheated leftovers. Neither of us said much until we were sitting on his couch with plates in our hands. I told him everything: the fraud, the police report, the phone calls. When I finished, he put down his fork and shook his head. "This guy isn't just toxic," he said. "He's a hazard." "I know. You need to stay somewhere. He can't find you." "I'm moving into my new place in 2 weeks," I said. "Application got approved." His eyebrows rose. "That fast?" I needed a fresh start. He clinked his fork against my plate. "That's my girl," he said. "Move forward so fast, the past can't catch you." But the past wasn't done with me yet. That night, Ethan escalated again. My phone lit up with notifications from apartment hunting Facebook groups, then from Craigslist. "Room available. $200 month, utilities included. Females preferred. Call, text Mara. Real phone number listed." My phone exploded with messages. "Is the room still available? Is the rent really $200? Can I come see the place today? Is this a scam?" I reported the posts. I posted clarifications. I changed my number. Ethan's final text before I blocked him said, "This is what you get for humiliating me. You think you can kick me out and destroy my life? Watch what I do next." I didn't reply. The next morning, I blocked every remaining number associated with him. His friends, his cousins, his coworkers, anyone who had reached out on his behalf. By Thursday, the calls stopped. Because Ethan had found a new audience, the social media meltdown. Aaron, one of our mutual friends, sent me a message with a link. "Did you see this?" Ethan had posted a full Instagram story series about being abandoned and emotionally abused. He painted himself as a victim whose girlfriend destroyed his life because of one mistake. At first, people were sympathetic. Then someone asked, "Didn't you cheat on her with your ex?" Screenshots of his messages with Tessa appeared. The ones I had shown him in the apartment, the ones he thought I deleted. People turned fast. Comments flooded in. Bro, she left because you cheated. Imagine playing the victim when you literally spent a weekend at another woman's place. The audacity is crazy. This man is holding his own shovel. The stories vanished within minutes. Too late. The internet is forever. That night, I was brushing my teeth at Kyle's place when my phone lit up. An unknown caller. Since I'd changed my number, almost no one had it yet. Not even my dad. My stomach twisted. I answered cautiously. Hello? Is this Mara Sullivan? A woman asked. Yes, this is Officer Davis with the police department. We just wanted to notify you that Ethan Martinez has been arrested on charges of identity theft and attempted fraud. For several seconds, I forgot how to breathe. Arrested? Actually arrested? What happens now? I asked quietly. He'll be arraigned tomorrow. Officer Davis said there's strong evidence linking the applications to his personal devices, his IP address, his home Wi-Fi, his laptop. The officer paused. I'm sorry you had to go through this, but the case is solid. When I sat on the couch, Kyle muted the TV. What happened? I swallowed. They arrested him. He blinked, then smiled slowly, like someone exhaling after holding their breath for too long. You okay? He asked. Yes, I said, then added, I think so. You're shaking, he said gently. I'm not sad, I whispered. I'm just relieved. So relieved it feels unreal. Kyle nodded, leaning back. Good, he said. He doesn't get to haunt you anymore. But relief was only the beginning. The consequences for both of us were still unfolding. The eviction deadline fell on a Tuesday, day 30 exactly. By then, I'd moved into my new apartment, a quiet sunlit one-bedroom 15 minutes from work, with clean white walls, underground parking, and the sort of peace you don't understand you've been missing until you finally get it back. But I still had to close the last chapter. At 2 p.m., my landlord Steve texted, She's out, finally, left the place a mess. Want to do a walkthrough? I took a deep breath, grabbed my keys, and texted Kyle, Walkthrough at my old place. Need backup? His reply was instant. You know I'm coming. We met in the parking lot 20 minutes later. I hadn't stepped foot in that building since the day I packed up my life. Walking toward it now felt like approaching a ghost I wasn't afraid of anymore. Steve was waiting by the door, clipboard in hand. You ready? He asked. As I'll ever be, I said. He unlocked the apartment. I stepped inside and froze. The place wasn't messy. It was destroyed. Garbage bags piled in the kitchen, rotting food in the sink, couch cushions slashed open, photos ripped off the walls. My old desk, left behind because I didn't need it, lay on its side with 2 broken legs, 3 fist-sized holes punched through the drywall in the living room. In the bedroom, the walls were worse. Written in thick black marker, Hope you rot alone. You ruin everything. Kyle let out a low whistle. Wow. He did not take this well. No, I said softly, he didn't. Steve lifted his clipboard. This is easily $3,000 in damages, he said. The security deposit doesn't even put a dent in it. I'm taking her to small claims court. You're in the clear. She was the sole occupant for the last 3 weeks. That's fine, I said. Do whatever you need to do. He nodded and took photos from every angle, documenting everything. In the middle of the living room floor, something caught my eye. A cardboard box. Open. I walked toward it slowly. Inside were all our photos together. Framed pictures, Polaroids, ticket stubs, anniversary cards. The scrapbook I'd spent months building, now half ripped apart. Like she'd expected me to walk in, see the memories, and crumble. Like this destruction was supposed to break me. Kyle stepped beside me. You thinking what I'm thinking? Dumpster. We carried the entire box outside and slid it straight into the trash compactor without looking through a single item. The past was trash, literally. That evening, Kyle and I were meal prepping in my new kitchen. The place smelled like garlic and basil instead of stress and heartbreak. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated but answered. Is this Mara Sullivan? A man asked. Yes. This is Officer Davis. Just wanted to let you know the arraignment was this morning. Your ex posted bail. $25,000. Someone in this family covered it. I exhaled slowly. Okay, he's scheduled for a formal hearing next month. Given the digital evidence, IP logs, device registrations, browser history, the case is strong. Identity theft is a felony. He's facing probation at minimum, possibly more. I understand, I said. Sullivan, the officer added. Given the harassment, you can file for a restraining order at any time. Thank you, I said softly. I'll consider it. When I hung up, Kyle slid a bowl of pasta toward me. Eat, he said. You look like you exited your body. I might have, I said with a weak laugh. Good, less space in your head for that clown. The next month unfolded in pieces, small ones, healing ones. I unpacked my new apartment slowly, choosing where to put each item with care instead of urgency. I slept better, deeper than I had in years. I stopped jumping every time my phone buzzed. I started reading again, cooking again, music again, picked up the guitar I'd abandoned long ago. Kyle and I went back to our Thursday night basketball games with our old friends. One day, Aaron pulled me aside and said, Look, I didn't want to interfere before, but we all had bad vibes about Ethan. We just didn't think it was our place. I wish I'd listened to my own bad vibes, I said. He gave me a sympathetic pat. Better now than never. He wasn't wrong. A few weeks later, I got final confirmation from the landlord. Judgment granted. She owes $2,800. You owe nothing. It felt like closing a door gently and locking it from the outside. Then came the criminal case. The prosecutor offered Ethan a plea deal, 2 years probation, full restitution to me for credit repair and legal fees, mandatory counseling, a permanent felony record. He took it. Of course he did. He didn't want jail time. A week later, I received an official document. Restitution order, $3,400. Payment plan, $150 per month for 24 months. Ethan was paying for the damage he caused, literally and legally. Then, 2 days after the restitution notice, my phone lit up with a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered. Hello? A familiar voice. His mother. Mara, please, she said, sounding exhausted. He's working minimum wage. He can barely afford his car payment. These restitution payments are destroying him. Is there any way you can reduce the amount or speak to the court? I stared at the wall. Linda, I said slowly, your son committed felony identity theft. Her breath hitched. But he's young, she tried. He made a mistake. He's paying for it. Isn't that enough? No, I said gently. He laughed in my face when I confronted him. He vandalized the apartment. He tried to hack my accounts. He harassed me at work. He applied for credit using my identity. These aren't mistakes. These are choices. And I'm done being his safety net. I hung up, then blocked her new number. Life kept moving forward. I'd settled into my new apartment. I joined a gym. I rediscovered my morning routine. I cooked meals I actually enjoyed. I didn't think about him every time my phone buzzed. I didn't wake up exhausted from arguing in my dreams. Somewhere in that softness, something unexpected happened. I met someone. His name was Rowan. Yes, really. A physical therapist at my gym. Kind eyes, warm smile, annoyingly good posture. We started talking after he spotted me doing deadlifts with questionable form and offered friendly advice. Our first date was simple. Coffee and a walk through a nearby park. He paid for his own drink. He didn't check his phone once. He didn't mention an ex except to say they'd parted respectfully years ago. He asked questions about my life and listened like the answers mattered. The bar was underground, but he cleared it effortlessly. We've gone on 3 dates now. Slow, easy, no chaos. I'm not rushing anything, but for the first time in a long time, I feel peaceful, and that's enough. 6 weeks after everything ended, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Mara, it's Ethan. I got a new phone. I know you probably won't respond, but I need to say this. I'm so sorry. I destroyed the best thing in my life. You were right about everything. My friends left. Tessa blocked me. I lost my job. I'm living with my parents and working retail. I have court dates for crimes I never imagined committing. My life is ruined and it's all my fault. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I hope one day you'll understand. I truly am sorry. You deserve better. I read the message twice, then a third time. Kyle glanced over my shoulder. Him, he said. Yeah, you going to respond? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Anger didn't rise. Sadness didn't rise. Nothing rose except a quiet clarity. I typed one sentence. I hope you figure out whatever's broken inside you that made you think treating people like that was okay. We're done. Deleted the message. Kyle leaned back on the couch and nodded. Clean, he said. I learned from the best, I replied. Life is calm now. Better than calm. Whole. I'm planning a solo trip to Japan next spring. 2 weeks of temples, quiet mornings, neon nights, and zero thoughts about past heartbreak. The luggage I once bought for him sits in my closet now. Mine again. It's poetic in a way. Those bags were supposed to carry memories with someone who betrayed me. Instead, they're taking me somewhere new, somewhere peaceful, beautiful, far from anything he ever touched. The best revenge wasn't his arrest or the restitution, or watching karma dismantle his illusions. The best revenge was living a life he no longer had access to,